I remember Beyonce's team were like scouring for like any like discounted Rolex watches because obviously they had to buy like 30 of them. Because I was like, I cannot float that bill. So this Lady Gaga look will always have a special place in my heart because it was the first time that like a celebrity of any kind had worn something of mine, and out of everyone it was like my icon and idol, Lady Gaga. Like I passed out. I remember I did this terrible little collection and I didn't know how to sew back then. Like this was when I was starting university. So I remember I put it all together by doing dots of super glue. Like it was like garbage. There was no lining. It was like really me just like working out on my bedroom floor. And then I did this little collection, released it. Somehow her team saw it online, still not quite sure to this day. And then she wore it in New York and I got a text congratulating me about it. And I checked it out and I was like shaking and so excited. Yeah, all-time moment for me. I had met Paris Hilton at a paper magazine party and I had asked for her number and she was just like, sure. So then when it came to the time, I was like, well, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'll just text Paris Hilton and see what she says. And she was like, when and where? And I was like, so excited, and made this ridiculous dress, which was like going from small sequins, and it's like they kept on growing and growing and growing until they were like a yard in diameter. And got this massive tiara made, and she just turned it out. Love her so much. She's like one of my favorite people in the industry. I was kind of really inspired by Valentine's Day at the time. Kind of always have been. I kind of like the cheesiness of it, but also the real romanticness to it. But I wanted to do a lace look, and we attached with these little velvet hearts. Took forever. And then I had just started working with Miley at the time, and she was so fun to work with because she was down for whatever I came up with. Such a good experience. And I remember she sent me these photos of her wearing this outfit covered in like 9 dogs. And I was like, this is like my perfect type of press. I loved Cardi, and I had been dressing her for a minute by that point, just for like performances and all that jazz. And then Colin, her stylist, who is just such creative and so nice to work with, had seen in my runway that I'd done all these checkerboard looks, and it was my first time doing any kind of print placement, and I wanted it to feel very Christian Cowan, and that was like my way to go. But they just asked for it, and they didn't really say what it was for. They were like, do you mind if we borrow this look? Like, it would be great. And I was like, yeah, do you mind if I change a few things? And then anyway, they sent me a video from set being like, this is going to be her album cover. And it was like her in the look. But I love how they styled it. I love the yellow finger wave by Tokyo Style. I was like, it was just all so like right. So that is like, we've got it huge framed in the office, and it's always going to be one of our favorite moments. And what was funny was like first, and then we did another cover with the watch gloves for her. Originally they were meant to be for Beyonce, and we were going to make them all in real like Rolexes, and then that didn't work out. And then we sent them to Rihanna, and another star who I won't name had completely destroyed them just before and had cut them through to try and get them to fit. So it didn't work. So we made them again, and it worked out for Cardi. Like, she was a literal bird of paradise in that outfit. Like, it was in my runway show, and it was one of my favorite looks. And then I texted Colin from Cardi's team immediately, being like, do you need anything? And it was like the night of the show, and they're like, yes, we need it on a flight. And they sent someone on a flight with it to Paris, and she wore it like the next day in the full look. And I've always been a big fan of someone who like wears something straight off the runway. And I love that she was like in an outfit from New York Fashion Week at Paris Fashion Week the next day. I thought it's just so like everything that like the teenager in me would have died over. Like it was so fun. So like Old Town Road was like smashing it, like at its insane like reign at the top of the chart. But I saw this guy and I was like, hold on, he's like rap, he's country, and he's queer. So I reached out to his team, I remember, which I don't usually reach out to them, but with him I was like, we have to work with him. And they were immediately on it for that. And I spoke to Nas, and we just immediately had chemistry and were great friends. And we just all love Prince. And his stylist Hodo was like, let's do something Prince. And we don't do much menswear. And it was fun to be able to do something that was like flamboyant, but had masculinity to it, but paid homage to someone that we all know and love. And then we just put together this like mega campaign of stars and celebs that included Marc Jacobs, and just like designed this crazy collection together and donated it all to charity, all the sales. So it was kind of a dream collab. Marc Jacobs, he like made ready to wear at Louis Vuitton. Like he did all these iconic moments, And when I started noticing that he was on my Instagram, and I had a message from a famous magazine editor telling me that Marc had told them about me, I was so excited. And so I just messaged him being like, would you want to be in my Lil Nas X collab collection campaign? And shockingly, he was like, yeah, just tell me where. And I just had to sort out a few COVID tests for him, and he turned up. But it's just, that was like one of my favorite moments ever, because while I'm so lucky to have all these musicians and all these people who wear our stuff, it's to have like an icon within your own industry give you that seal of approval was just like everything I needed. So J-Lo, in my eyes, is like the supreme pop star. So when they asked for the dress, I was just so excited, immediately sent it. I got pictures, died over it. And then by some weird chain of events that were like out of my control, somehow Mariah Carey also wore the same dress. And it was like this like wild moment of both of them wearing it. But like so honored and flattered. Like it's so exciting when you get like that seal of approval from an icon that you loved in your childhood and your adult years. I always think that's more special. Like my next dream is I want to work with David Attenborough. That would like make my life. Those are my two childhood icons, J-Lo and David Attenborough.